Hey everyone, I'm back again for tonight. Thought I'd switch it up a little bit after I've probably just caused a bit of a bummer for a few people. For that I apologize. I just had to get that off my chest. So, what the intent of this video is, this is going to be a new tag video. And it's going to be 5 places. What 5 places would you like to visit most, and why? So I'll start it off. Number 5 on my list would be Okinawa, Japan, the island. The reason why I'd love to go there one day is just plain and simple the culture, the old world, traditional Japanese culture, which is so rapidly disappearing nowadays. And Okinawa is one of the last true vestiges of the old Japanese culture still left today. The buildings, the traditions, they still fish, many of them by hand, the way they did 5 centuries ago. Now of course there are commercialized fishermen out of Okinawa that are using mechanized boats, but some are still doing it the old way with sails and rowboats and hand netting. And so I would really like to see that. It would be really interesting and probably a good education. Number 4 would have to be St. Petersburg, Russia. And why I'd really like to go there is to see all the old cathedrals there that are still standing, even though St. Petersburg took one hell of a beating in World War II. Some of their most beautiful cathedrals managed to survive just a pounding by the German forces, and in the subsequent beat back of them by the Russian forces. And the fact that some of those cathedrals are still around today is amazing, and I'd really like to see them. The architecture of that era is stunning. Number 3 would be Sydney, Australia. And the number 1 reason why I'd love to go to Sydney is, can you see this skyline? Right there, the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. That Opera House is one of the most gorgeous buildings I have ever seen a million pictures of, and I would love to go there one day. I'm sure I could spend an entire day just in the Opera House itself, let alone on the Harbour Bridge. It's always been one of my dream places to go, and I've yet to make it there, and hopefully I will make it there one day before I croak. Fingers crossed. Number 3, Athens, Greece. And this would be the reason why. The Acropolis and the Parthenon. The ancient Greek architecture was stunning. What else can you say about it? They were true craftsmen, and they created these massive works of art. Like what we live in today, our houses and the buildings we go to for our jobs typically are just buildings. There's nothing spectacular about the vast majority of them, but this is art in its truest and finest form. Like, it would have been interesting to have been there to actually witness the construction of the Acropolis. and the Parthenon. It just awestruck. And the number one place that I want to go to, and a lot of you will have never heard of this, and you will say, where the fuck is that? Bear Run, Pennsylvania. It's not a big town. It's a little ways outside of Philly, and it's a gorgeous forested area, and I've yet to be there. And I don't ask me why I've never been there before. I spent the first 29 years of my life living in central Ontario, and Bear Run is less than a day's drive away, and I never ever made it down there. Now I live in British Columbia. It's more than a day's drive now, more like 3.5 days. So yeah, hopefully I get there. But this is the reason why I want to go to Bear Run. This is called Falling Water. It is probably the most famous house that Frank Lloyd Wright ever designed. He designed it for the Kaufman family back in the early 30s, for Edgar Kaufman, and who was a rich industrialist. And basically he gave Frank Lloyd Wright free rein just about with this house. And I forget the exact final construction costs, but for back in that day, the construction cost was astronomical. But that was the way that Frank Lloyd Wright operated. He'd give you a budget. Oh yeah, it'll cost less than $40,000, and the final cost is $95,000. It's just the way he operated. And you know, the vast majority of his clients, they may have grumbled about the money while it was going on, but after it was done, there wasn't any more grumbling. Here is one absolutely beautiful shot of this house. It is built into the hillside, and it is actually built right over top of a running year-round stream, hence the name Falling Water. The cantilevering of the concrete and steel floors on this house is huge. It's an engineering marvel, and to know that it's still standing today after 70 years says a lot about Frank Lloyd Wright, even though he was not an engineer. And some people say he actually wasn't a certified architect. Some people say he was. I don't know. I wasn't around, so beats the hell out of me. Here's another shot of it. This is looking directly at it along the long axes of the house. Like, look at that cantilevering. This here is about 20 some odd feet deep underneath there, freestanding. If you can see it here, hopefully you can. You can see the creek here. There's the falling, there's a little waterfall directly under the house. Is that amazing, or is that amazing? Anyway, I gotta tag 5 people. It's gonna be Dual Ranger, Tattoo Skin 72, or Page of Cups, whatever you want to use, Healthy Addict, Sing So Much, and Irish Shaman. So tag everybody. Can't wait to see your videos. Bye bye.